Welcome to your Hatha class. Starting to let the shoulders soften. Maybe closing the eyes. Taking a nice breath in. And open the mouth. Big exhale. Big, bold, beautiful breath in. And over the mouth. Starting to let go of the day. Our thoughts. Maybe judgments or expectations. Allowing yourself to arrive fully to the mat. Feel the mat against the heels, the calves, thighs and glutes. The areas of the back body touching the mat. Notice the areas of the back body that curve away from the mat naturally. See if you can soften through the neck and all the muscles surrounding the chest. Listen to your breath. No changing, just observing. Watching the inhale and watching the exhale. Allowing all outside sounds to slowly get further and further away. Becoming fully present with the now. Breathing into this moment, this space, this experience. Take a sweet inhale in. And a soft extended exhale. Sweet inhale in. A long extended exhale. Last one here, sweet inhale. A long extended exhale. Maybe starting to lick the lips and seal them. So you head for an ujjayi breath. Maybe placing the tip of the tongue behind the two front teeth. Adding some restriction to the back of the throat and creating a now audible but equal inhale and exhale through the nose. Gently take the gaze over the right shoulder. Keep the eyes still closed and just let the ear, the cheek soften towards the ground. Gently bringing the gaze back through to neutral. A moment of pause here, maybe a breath cycle. Or gently finding your way to the other side. Bringing the left ear, left cheek down. Maybe eyes are still closed. Gently bringing the gaze back to neutral. Your time and your space. Start to bring all the fingers and the toes in towards the hands and the feet as if you were making fists, little balls. And then exhale, take the fingers and the toes wide and away. Inhale, making a fist nice and tight, maybe thumbs are to the outside. And exhale, fingers and toes away. We'll do 3 more at your own pace. Inhale, finding that nice inward motion, crunching the toes and the fingers in. Exhale, we take them wide and away. Last 2. Finding the inhale, phalanges come in. Exhale, the phalanges extend. Last one, inhale. And exhale, extend the toes and the fingers. Bottom of the exhale, just starting to soften. A moment to observe. Start to hug the left leg in towards the body, maybe catching the shin, interlacing the fingers. Just allowing yourself to find ease here at first, and then maybe starting to pull that leg in a little closer, bringing awareness to the compression that we're creating as the leg meets the torso. Maybe adding in some movement as you take the knee one way and then out the other. Or if stillness is your jam today, you can stay there. Doing one more breath cycle here. Allowing the knee to find center. Use the opposite hand to guide the leg over to the right side of the body into a nice little supine twist. Option for gaze to stay neutral or for it to turn over the opposite shoulder. A few breath cycles here. Bottom of your next exhale, starting to unwind and coming back through to center. Again, maybe taking a moment to observe before allowing yourself to extend the leg and lower it back down to the mat mindfully. Allow the leg to soften. Gently starting to bring the right leg in, hugging it in towards the torso, towards the belly. Maybe interlacing the fingers around the shin. Starting soft. Slowly adding a little more sensation, noting the awareness as that leg comes closer to the torso, creating more compression, more sensation. There's an option to add some movement here. Maybe taking the knee one way and then the other, or staying in that stillness. Your body, your choice. Enjoy one more breath cycle here. And enjoying our way over to that supine twist on the other side. Use the opposite hand to guide the leg over to the left side. Maybe allowing the gaze to go over the opposite shoulder, or maybe keeping it neutral. Bottom of your exhale starting to unwind. Be using the inhale to find the legs back out through to neutral. And again, just mindfully taking a moment, observe, and with control, extending the leg long. Start to make our way into our reclined butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees go wide. Remember, the closer the heels are in towards the body, that sensation might shift versus the further the heels are away from the body. Taking what you need today. First, again, just meeting with ease. And then finding some movements here. Maybe a little flap of the butterfly wings. Maybe starting to bring the knees towards one another, but keeping the soles of the feet together on an inhale. Noting the sensation you're creating here. And then exhale, softly, mindfully opening the legs down towards the mat. And maybe using that inhale, butterfly wings flap up. And exhale, they open. Good, last one here. Inhale, find that nice sweet flap up. And exhale, opening the legs. Finding some active awareness here for a moment. For 3, 2, and starting to soften. Bring the right knee up towards the ceiling. Plant the sole of the right foot on the mat. And then start to reach for the left foot, left ankle, or shin, coming into a half happy baby. Beautiful. All options available to modify for the happy baby. If you'd like, you can take the right leg long or leave it where it is. If you'd like to grab the ankle, the big toe, inside of the foot or outside of the foot, all are acceptable. Bring awareness to the shoulders. See if we can soften and invite them a little deeper towards the mat. Tapping into your awareness of your body. Where are you feeling sensation? What is happening? Can you breathe into that space? Allowing oxygenated cells to come rushing to the area. Maybe visualizing that dance with each inhale and each exhale. Maybe starting to press the sole of the foot a little deeper towards the ceiling. Last breath here. And once again, extending the right leg long, bringing the hand just outside of the left knee, guiding it over to the right side of the body, coming into that supine twist once again. Option to use a block or anything for under the leg. Maybe gaze stays neutral, maybe it flows with the direction of the knee today, or maybe we take it over the opposite direction. All choices are valid. Remember to find your breath. And check in with that awareness as the shoulders are sinking down towards the mat. What sensation is happening through the torso, the ribs, maybe into those hips and down the legs. Enjoy one more breath here. And then as you unwind, starting to hug that left leg in towards the torso, towards the body once again. Softening through the shoulders, relaxing through the chest muscles, all the muscles of the neck. Bring all your awareness to what's happening in the shape, what you're feeling within the body. And breathe. Once again, slowly starting to extend the leg back down towards the mat. Maybe taking it long or letting the foot plant. Breathe. Starting to come into our Half happy baby on the other side. Plant the left leg, knee up towards the ceiling, and start to reach for the outside edge of the right foot, maybe that big toe, maybe the ankle, anywhere that you need to reach today. Starting to bring the sole of the foot towards the ceiling and maybe pulling that leg down towards the mat, just outside of the torso, outside of the ribs. Wherever you're at today, know that that's enough. Bring awareness to the shoulders. Feel the softening of the neck muscles, the chest. You bring awareness to the sole of the foot as it reaches actively towards the ceiling as if it was stepping. If you like, you can start to extend the other leg or leave it where it is. Last breath here before we start to move into that half twist on the other side. Moving with your breath, your space, starting to guide that leg over to the left. Maybe allowing the gaze to flow with the knee. Shoulders relax. Always an option to turn the corners of the mouth upwards into a smile. Allow those good vibrations to mix with every cell of your being, with every breath. Bringing awareness to what's happening in your body, from the torso, the ribs, the hips, all the way down the legs. And we enjoy maybe one more breath. As you start to unwind, coming back as we reach for that right leg, hugging it in towards the body. Let the shoulders melt into the mat. Feel the effects of gravity. And one more breath here. And extend the leg long with control. We're going to come into a legs up the wall without the wall, sometimes known as waterfall. So just taking the legs and the feet towards the ceiling, keeping the arms along the sides of the body. Bring awareness as the shoulders are pressing down into the mat here. And then what's happening in the legs as we find this little inversion. From here, if you'd like to add some movement for the feet, maybe rotating the ankles and the toes one way. When we're satisfied, switching up that rotation for the other direction. Maybe we point and flex those feet. Really feeling into those beautiful feet, the toes, those beauties that hold you up 365 days a year. And then mindfully flexing the feet as if you were standing on the ceiling, extending the legs just a little bit more while still keeping a softness in the knees. So again, as if you were actually actively standing on the ground. 3, 2, gently bringing the legs back down. Option 2, maybe let the soles of the feet hit the mat with a bit of a thud. Beauty. And then just walk the feet out about hip distance. Coming into a bridge pose. So what we'll be doing is we'll keep the arms along the sides of the body. We'll walk those shoulders a little deeper under the back body, bringing that awareness as we're planting down. Remember to try and keep those legs running parallel. Think French fries, not pizza pie when we're skiing. Same rules apply here. We're going to go ahead, press through the arms, the shoulders. Inhale, find lift through the hips. Bring awareness as to what's happening in the feet. Can you locate the big toe mound and the heels? Press actively into the ground. Feel the hip flexors be magnetically drawn for the ceiling. For 3, 2, gently find your way down. Beauty. As we touch down, we're going to go ahead, press through the feet. Find that lift through the hips. And then bring the awareness as what's happening in the body as you move. Feel the roll through the torso, starting to create some energy lines. And then your next exhale, slowly coming back down. This next one, we're going to find a moment to stay here and breathe into the space. Press through the feet. Inhale, lift the hips. Start to find that beautiful roll through back body as the chest falls towards the chin. Bridge pose. Keep awareness into what's happening in the feet, how we're standing into the ground. Beautiful. Awareness as the arms and the shoulders are still reaching into our mat here. 3. Last 2. And last 1. Lower with control. And you can go ahead, hug the legs in, give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. Anything that feels good, a little rock and roll sideways. Here's what's up and feeling good. We'll take that. And we'll gently roll over to the belly. If you want to face the front of your mat, that's fine. Just find your space to come down into a prone position on the belly. We'll be working into some more back bends. Coming into a cobra first. So we'll bring the hands to plant just under the chest, around maybe the lower ribs. Okay. Allow the elbows to keep reaching for the torso, okay, and towards the back wall. When you're ready, go for a baby cobra first. Press through the hands. Find the lift. Feel the sensation in the torso, the ribs. Exhale, lower down. Beauty. Couple more movements here, playing with your cobra, going for what feels good in your body. Press through the hands. So to find that lift, feel what's happening in the ribs, the torso. Don't let it be so much about the arms. Let it be about the ribs. See if you can let those shoulders find some depression. And exhale, lower. Beauty. Relax the feet down into the mat here. Relax the legs. Last cobra here. Inhale, find some lift. And exhale, lower down. Sweetly and with control. Go ahead, option to stack the hands under one another, creating a little space for yourself and the nose to breathe on the mat in a forward facing. Moment of awareness here. What's happening in the back body, the legs, the glutes, the toes. Have you had the same patterns of thought pop up? Can you bring the awareness back to the breath and the now? Maybe we're going to move over just a little bit to accommodate for some space for a shoulder roll. So taking your time, we'll move over to the left a little bit and we'll bring the right arm out into a half T formation. We're going to find that beautiful shoulder roll to the right first. So bring the left hand in close to the ribs, close to the body, and rolling towards the right arm. Remember, palm can be down or up, your choice. And we'll find that one leg to come and plant behind the other. Beauty, allowing the head to be heavy here, maybe using that arm in the front for a little more leverage. Just moving to where you feel something. And something that doesn't take your breath away. Breathing into the space here for 2 more. And 1 more. Gently finding your way back through to center. Maybe enjoying a moment in that forward facing once again. And if you'd like, you can move a little back over towards the center of your mat or stay where you are. We'll be doing that shoulder roll to the other side. So taking the left arm out, either palm down or palm up, bringing the right hand in close to the chest. Create that leverage as you roll towards the left arm, bringing that top leg to plant behind the bottom. Breathing into the space here, maybe awareness of what's happening in the front of the shoulder versus what's happening in the back of the shoulder. Last two. Take your time. Come back through to center. No race, no rush. I'm going to start to bring the forearms to plant under the shoulders. As we make our way into a Sphinx pose next, we want those forearms to come out in front. We might kind of give ourselves a little lift away from the mat. Again, plant the forearms and the elbows underneath of the shoulders. Yes, beauty. And find active awareness. What's happening in the hands, or have we let the energy of the hands kind of dissipate here? Keep awareness in what's happening in the energy lines of the body, and that includes all the extremities. Press down through the forearms, through the elbows. Feel what's happening in the shoulders. Option to keep the gaze down, creating length in the neck. It's really nice too, especially if we're at a computer all day. Or if you're okay to find some movement, maybe bringing the gaze up. Again, your choice for how far you'd like to take that. Beauty. Try to relax the muscles of the chest. Beautiful. And check in with what's happening at the legs, the lower extremities. Can you soften through the glutes, through the legs? They don't really need to be engaged here. And take your time, come back out. I always like to take those elbows wide and lower down into a forward facing. But any way to come down will do well. We're going to be coming into Sphinx again here. Enjoy one more breath cycle and forward facing. Again, lining up those elbows under the shoulders, forearms coming out parallel. We're engaging through Hasta Bandha in the hands, meaning we've got all the fingers wide and they're engaging with the mat, pressing down equally. Press through the elbows and notice what happens in the shoulders when you press down into the ground. Option to keep the gaze down or again take it up, your choice, your body. Soften through the legs if you can. See if you can find a little extension through the ribs, the torso. 3, 2, and last one. Slowly lower down with control. Take your time. No race, no rush. Any little movements that feel good in your body. Honoring what comes up. Whether it's a burp, a fart, or a leg cramp. When you're ready, slowly making your way either back into seal or option to go a little further. Making your way back into Sphinx or seal as we go a little further. So setting yourself first up for Sphinx, stacking the elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms out in front, and then maybe taking the hands to the upper corners of your mat and turning those thumbs towards the front, fingers out. Yes. From here you can find some lift as you press through the hands, bring the forearms away from the ground. Beauty. And again, let's relax through the chest here. Yes. And then invite the abdomen to sink towards the mat here. Feel the sensation that happens through this midline. Good. Again, it's not so much that we don't know, so we don't need to shrug the shoulders. Good. Option to smile here and breathe into the space. Also an option to frown, but that's you. Good. One more breath here. Slowly, with control, finding yourself to lower down. And this time, let's bring the hands back by the hips, fingers pointed towards the toes. Option to turn the cheek to one side if that feels good. Enjoy a couple breath cycles, turning the cheek the other way. Let's go ahead, plant the hands under the shoulders and press back into a child's pose. Give our back body just a little counter here. Option for the legs to stay together, giving yourself more support for the low back, or taking the legs wide, allowing more space for the torso. Maybe making this as active or as passive as you need in this moment. Again, being honest with yourself here. No need for those little white lies. Sometimes the effort is in the surrender. Being aware and observing the breath, the body physically and emotionally. So to walk the hands over to the left side of the mat. And then again, maybe finding a little more engagement as we're here pressing down through those fingers. Take a big breath in and notice what happens in the torso, the ribs. Maybe the back body. Enjoying one more. Gently making our way through to center. And finding our way in your time to the other side. Finding some engagement through the hands. Press down through the fingers. Take a big breath in. Feel the expansion as it's happening. And exhale, settling into that space of sensation. Let's take one more here. And in your time and your space, come through to center. We'll find our way through to a rabbit's pose. So a couple ways that we can approach this one here. We can keep the hands to frame the crown, the ears especially, relieving some of the pressure from the neck. Or you can take the arms to thread back towards the legs, maybe palm up towards the ceiling and pressing the backs of the hands down into the mat, or you can grab onto the ankles. Regardless of where you're at today, start to find the hips lifting as you roll up away from the legs, and then stopping at the top of the crown as if you were about to take a somersault. Breathe into the space and see if you can continue to press down through the tops of the feet into the mat. Again, allowing the hands to take any amount of weight out of this from the neck that you need. Breathing once more into the space where sensation is happening. Before allowing the hips to slowly lower back down towards the legs, coming into your child's pose, leaving the arms to come back by the feet, releasing the weight of the world. Allow the shoulders to roll towards your mat. If it feels good here, adding some movement for the body might feel nice. A little rock side to side. We're going to be moving into Bakasana or frog pose. So bring the hands forward. The option to take the knees wider than the mat or turn sideways, whichever you need. We can also add in a blanket for more comfort if we need, but we're only here for about 4 breath cycles. So remember, our frog can be modified quite a few different ways. We can take the toes out or we can point the toes towards one another. If you'd like, you can bend into the elbows and send those hips back a little further. Any variation here that you would like. Also completely valid to stay lifted on the hands here. Maybe breathe into the space and be aware of what's happening in your body from the top of the crown to the soles of the feet. Last 2. And the last one. Slowly find your way up, maybe army crawling towards the top of the mat to come back to a prone position on the belly. Bring the big toes together and let the heels fall wide. Option to stack the hands. Beautiful. Take some variations for the next little bit here. We'll be taking a prone half frog variation with a block under our legs. I've got some little ones there if you want to use those. We'll bring the left leg out first towards the side wall, maybe taking those toes out. And our block can either go under the ankle or under the knee. So wherever we'd like to find and feel that sensation. Beauty. And then option for the gaze to be neutral, same direction as the leg or tracking opposite direction. Awareness still in what's happening in the body and how we're surrendering to this shape. Last breath here for stillness. And we're going to find a little movement, moving with your breath, not necessarily mine. Go ahead and start to find the foot and the ankle lifting away from the ground. And then back down. Maybe moving that inhale, we find the lift. And that exhale, we bring it back down. Don't worry about how high it goes. Any height is fine. Doesn't have to be higher than anything. Inhale. And exhale back down. Just allowing ourselves one more breath here before we extend that beautiful leg long. Go ahead. Extend the left arm once again towards the side wall, either palm down or palm up, and we're going to do another little shoulder roll, so rolling over to the left, bringing the right arm in close to the chest. Just finding that little roll here. Maybe planting that foot, letting the head be heavy here. 3 full breath cycles. The bottom of your exhale coming back through to center. Taking your time. We'll set up for that frog on the other side. There's another block there if we need. Again, maybe taking the block under the ankle or the knee, your choice. Allowing that gaze to flow where you need. And then awareness as to what and how we're settling into the body here, this space. Enjoying one more breath here. And you start to find that movement in the lower part of the leg. So maybe that inhale, the ankle, the foot come away from the ground. And exhale back down. Again, no need to be super forceful here. Just finding that gentle, mindful movement. Inhale, we lift. And exhale, coming back down. Last one here. Inhale, we find that lift. And exhale, bringing that leg back down. Maybe extending the leg long. And preparing to come into that shoulder roll on the other side. Extending the right arm. Maybe moving over slightly. And rolling to the right. Beautiful. Last breath here. And come back through to the belly in your time and your space. Start to move a little deeper into some of those back bends here. So bring the hands back by the hips, fingers pointed towards the toes. We'll bring the legs all the way together. Now imagine the legs were the bottom half of a mermaid, and so they weren't able to separate. From here, let's plant the palms down into the ground. So we've got a little active pressure here. Beautiful. Your next inhale, lift the chest and the chin away from the mat. Option to keep the hands where they are, and then let the legs follow. Find that lift through the legs. Beautiful. 3. Option to hover the hands. 2. And the last one. Lower with control on your exhale. Beautiful. Option to interlace the hands behind the back body here for a slightly deeper sensation. Imagine the knuckles or the fingers were being magnetically drawn towards the feet, towards the back of the room. Not necessarily up and away towards the ceiling, just towards the back. Your next inhale, you're going to start to find that lift away through front body from the mat. And then letting the legs join in again, imagining they're glued together. Beautiful breath. Good. Last 2. And last one. Lowering with control on the exhale. Maybe releasing the arms. Maybe we have the option to go into Dhanurasana, or that bow variation. I sometimes like to refer to it as a rocking horse here. But we can do a half variation, taking one arm forward and reaching back with the other arm. Or we can go for the full version, bending through the legs, reaching for the ankles or the tops of the feet. Now keep imagining we're like that mermaid and the legs are wanting to stay together. Your next inhale, start to find the lift through the chest and the chin away from the mat. And then active through the feet as the feet press into the hands and open up the body just a little bit more. 3, 2, beauty. Down with control, just kind of getting acquainted at first with the shape. Maybe releasing the feet if that feels okay. And if you're okay, one final bend into Dhanurasana, reaching for those beautiful feet. Your next inhale, chest and chin come away from the mat. Exhale, press the tops of the feet into the hands, so as if they were pressing towards the back wall. 3, 2, beautiful. Last breath, you got it. And release. Letting go of the feet, allowing the legs to go long, maybe allowing the big toes or big toe mounds to touch and the heels to go wide. If there's any organic movement that would feel good in your body, feel free to take that now. And gently rolling over to the back body. You'll find yourself in a constructive rest, so planting the soles of the feet, maybe letting the knees point towards one another, keeping them towards the sky, whichever feels good. We're going to get a little deeper into our shoulders with some Garudasana arms or some eagle arms. So first you're going to imagine you are going to give yourself a hug, maybe taking the arms out wide, stacking one arm over the other. It doesn't matter which arm goes first. Reaching for the shoulder blades at first, feeling the sensation here. Two options. Start to take the forearms towards one another, allowing the palms to reach for one another as you find your Garudasana arms. And then bring awareness to what's happening in the shoulders. Can you soften the shoulder blades a little deeper towards the mat? Not so much pushing the shoulders away from the ears, but letting them ground. From here, see if you can lift those fingertips a little closer towards the wall behind your head. And breathe. One more beautiful breath here. And releasing those eagle arms. Maybe opening up and then taking them on the other side. Opposite arm comes to find that hug. An option to stay with the hug or start to flip the forearms towards one another, the palms towards one another. Finding that nice little bind. Again, bring awareness to the shoulders. See if we can allow them to ground into the mat. Softening the muscles around the chest just a little bit. And then maybe those fingertips explore towards the wall behind. Beautiful. Last one. Opening the arms nice and wide towards the side walls. If you need, just moving over and giving yourself that space to really spread out. Let's go ahead and start to lift through the legs. Option to find an eagle leg variation, crossing one leg over the other. We're going to move into a twist to the right, so taking the legs over to the right first. Beauty. Maybe that top leg wind around the bottom leg if that feels good. Yeah. And if it feels good, stay for one more breath cycle. And unwinding the legs, allowing them to come back up through to neutral. Beautiful. Shins parallel to the ceiling. And exhale over to the other side, down to the left. Maybe allowing that top leg to wrap around the bottom. Again, if it feels good, stay for one more. And we're going to take a legs up the wall, this time using the wall, and just feel free to use the wall behind. It's all good if a painting falls down as long as it's not falling on you. Beauty, so we'll bring those hips in as close as we can. Guide our legs up the wall. Perfect. And then again, whatever feels good here in your body, if the little bend in the knees feels all right, or maybe it's a wall version of Baddha Konasana, that bound angle with the feet together and the knees wide, maybe wide-legged with the Legs making that V shape. All are valid. Breathing into the space. Also option, if you've got the knees bent at all, to take the arms overhead. Just allowing yourself to feel more in the body. And let's finish off with just some wall work here before our final rest. Starting with a wall happy baby. Plant the soles of the feet on the wall, taking the knees wider than the torso. And again, really pressing down through the feet as if you were stomping into that ground like a sumo wrestler. And breathing into the space. We'll enjoy one more breath cycle here. We're going to take some of the bend out of the knees. We're going to cross the right leg over the left thigh. Right ankle over the left thigh, so just think like figure four. Perfect. This will be a little sensational.
Yeah. Quite a bit sensational.
Only staying for one more breath here. And then mindfully starting to extend the leg back for the ceiling. And we'll move into the other side. Same thing, just a breath cycle or two. Before extending the legs back towards the ceiling, planting the feet and walking yourself down through to one side. Any side will do. Thinking like fetal position as you come down through one side of the body. Beautiful. And taking your time, we'll find our way back through to the mat. Maybe on the back body. We can add in some props if we'd like for our final rest. Huey, the supportive dinosaur, has the blanket and the bolster in the corner here. And again, final rest can happen in any way that is acceptable for your body. You're not limited to a traditional Savasana pose. You could always bend and plant the legs. Find the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. You could take child's pose. Anything you need today. We'll go ahead, take a nice big, bold, beautiful breath in. And we're making some noise, open the mouth. Releasing our practice and our attention to the breath. Inhale, big breath in. Make some noise. And the last one, inhale. Be seen, be heard. Take up space. Let it go. Allowing this time to be about awareness. Be supported on the mat, but just observe. Don't alter, observe, and all else falls away. option to stay a little longer if that's what you need today. But if it's time to rejoin the world around, we wiggle our fingers, wobble our toes. Starting to deepen our awareness with the breath once again. Let's take the gaze one way and then the next. If it feels right, turning the corners of the mouth upwards into a smile. Your next inhale, reach.
Sorry.
Exhale, relax. Finding your way up into a seat in your time and in your space. Thank you so much for coming to play today. I hope it was everything you wanted and all of what you needed, and that you enjoyed this entirely prone and supine Hatha class today. As always, please remember to eat something super, super yummy. Today, something super, super yummy. Well, we're going to call it for apple cider. I feel like there's still some apples out there.